Business Today. Rowena Kajumla here, and it's time for us to get into our insight, and we're still going to be focusing on the small and medium enterprise and some of the things that are very, very key. Just the other day we were looking at corporate governance, and now a number of things we're going to look at. Some of those being in terms of bookkeeping, and something we've always talked about. And of course, with me in studios is Anil Patel, who is the managing partner of Thornton, right?
Yes.
And he's going to be discussing with us much further. But first of all, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. Before we get into this particular discussion, please tell us more about who Anil Patel is and how you get to get yourself involved in discussions like this.
Anil Patel, I'm sitting here in front of you. I'm the managing partner of Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
It's an international accounting firm.
Okay.
Globally, it has people above 50,000,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a presence in over 145 countries. Uganda is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
In Uganda, we are a team of 120 people,
Mm-hmm.
and I have got an opportunity to lead this firm
Mm-hmm.
from the front.
Interesting.
We provide accounting, tax,
Mm-hmm.
and advisory services to our clients in Uganda,
Mm-hmm.
and we make a contribution to the economy of Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, some of the things that you're really interested in as well is some of your clients from small and medium enterprises to the large corporates, because people may just assume you're dealing with the large corporate people, but you're also dealing with small and medium enterprises.
Absolutely. In fact, 70 to 80% of our clients are SMEs.
Yeah.
And as we all know that SMEs are the backbone of the society.
Mm-hmm.
They drive the economic growth, and SMEs are large in number.
Mm-hmm.
So they contribute significantly in the society.
Mm-hmm.
Thornton globally
Mm-hmm.
is leading, I would say leader in providing accounting, tax and advisory services to the SMEs.
Mm-hmm.
But also we have some large corporates as well.
Okay, interesting. So why are we looking at bookkeeping here, so, the focus that you're having?
Well, bookkeeping is backbone of the organization. In this case, we are talking about SMEs. So any SMEs, what is it? It's a business at the end of the day, and the business needs to be measured in a particular manner. The best manner in which the performance of the business can be measured is having a right accounting systems. Why it's important is that the accounting of every day-to-day transaction or financial transactions of the business, if they are written down or if they are recorded in a particular manner, then that gives you a significant amount of information that's very helpful to the business owners or the business management and those who are interested in the businesses. So bookkeeping, it's a primary documents that every organization or every SME and any small or big, any organization should have. So that's why bookkeeping is what we do in our day-to-day practice as well.
So in absence of this, what could go wrong?
Well, in absence of having right accounting or the accounting records, the business itself will have will not have a right future. What could go wrong is when you don't have the right information. Let's say if you don't record your transactions, sales in this particular, if the sales is not recorded or poorly recorded, purchase is not recorded or poorly recorded, or every transaction, whether it is to do with the sales, purchase, the bank transactions, or any expenses for that matter, if they are not recorded in a systematic manner, that will not give you the right information to the owner manager. When you don't have the right information, let's say you don't know how your business is doing, when you don't know whether the business is profitable, whether business is making loss, or business needs a right amount of investment, or whether business is sustainable in short and medium term or not. All this information is what you get from the accounting system. In addition to that, every stakeholder in the society is interested in the books of accounts or the financial records of the SME. For example, bank, they need financial statements if the business need to borrow money. Tax authority, they need books of accounts to evaluate whether the business is paying right taxes or not, and so on and so forth.
Interesting. So many of the small and medium enterprises definitely will think, well, to have good bookkeeping, you need to have a professional, and this could be discouraging for them at the end of the day.
Well, it's good to have professionals to maintain your books of accounts. It's very good. But that's not from the day one. You can engage professional accountant as your business grow.
Okay.
But initially, when you have a startup, there are many options of the accountants are available. You have part-time practitioners or part-time bookkeepers who keeps books for various companies, more than one companies, and those accountants are available in the market. In addition to that, every year we have so many ACCAs and CAs and commerce graduates. All these students who are coming from university, they have been taught how to keep the books of accounts and particularly for managing good business, sound business. So I think these professionals or these students who are coming from the university are also good source of the professional, you can say them, available for the startups and small business holders. They need not have a costly professionals for that. But not to have accountant at all, that would lead, that would mislead to the business organization.
You need to have someone that can do the books.
Absolutely.
But how about if you're able to do that for yourself?
We have been able to do for many companies. We do for small organizations. We do so for NGOs. We have so many clients who outsource their bookkeeping to firm like us, because they understand the importance of the of the bookkeeping, and it is important because it gives you entire performance. It gives you all the vital information that business leader or CEO or the management would like to see them. So therefore, we also do that in our practice. Yeah.
Interesting. So what's your take on what we would call the corporate governance principles here, which come back down to things like accountability? We're looking at excellency, responsibility, but again, focusing on the small and medium enterprises. Yeah. Why, what's your take on the small and medium enterprises taking this direction?
Well, governance, as the word speaks, it's an important part of the business. Governance teaches us the discipline, basically the way in which the business must run. Governance does not limit with a large organization. Many people think that this animal called good governance or corporate governance is for the large organizations such as MTN and Madhwanis and all that. But that's not so. Corporate governance is very vital. The adopting the principles of the corporate governance are very important for any business. And you know, fortunately, I am also a council member of the Institute of Corporate Governance of Uganda, and I have been you know, in this particular field for past couple of years, and know very well that those companies, those SMEs or those organizations which follows the principles of the good governance, they tend to last longer, they tend to make more profit, they are more responsible organization, they pay fairly to their employees, they contribute fair taxes in accordance with the law to the tax body. They also keep their books of accounts properly, and therefore banks are more willing to give them finance. In fact, I've seen that the organizations, SMEs who maintain their good books and clean books and follow the principles of good governance, such as responsibility, as you mentioned, they attract better investors, and they have a source of fund which is relatively cheaper than what is available in the market. So as you rightly mentioned, responsibility. What is responsibility? Basically, responsibility is being transparent. Responsibility is in an organization, starting with the business owner or the shareholders in SMEs. They assume the responsibility as the roles that they ought to play. For example, shareholders of the company, their responsibility is to ensure that they provide sufficient finance and guidance to the board of directors and to the organization. The board of directors, if SME have, then their responsibility is to formulate the strategy of the company or the SMEs, because the SME of today was a startup yesterday, and SME of today will be a large organization, or potentially it has a great potential to become large, and therefore it needs a strategy to formulate the strategy. And what is strategy? Strategy is also a part of the good governance or corporate governance. Strategy is discussion as to which way this organization need to go in relation to the products. What products today you have, what products or services you want to put in market tomorrow. Today your turnover is so much. How much turnover would you like to have it in next 5 years or so? So strategy is to do with everything that needs to think about, including what could go wrong if things don't fall into place the way it has been planned. So strategies is the responsibility of the board of directors, and likewise CEO and the management. Their roles and responsibility is to ensure that the strategy that is formulated are acted upon, are taken appropriate actions and implemented so that the desired result can be achieved. So responsibility is one of the good governance principle, and then that's important.
Yes, which brings us to things like paying the right taxes, and that is a culture that probably, if this happened, would be worked upon.
Absolutely, because those organizations who pay right taxes, they are considered to be doing more legitimate business in an organ. Now, legitimate businesses attract better customers, better quality of their clients or customers. So when you pay fair taxes, on one hand, that's the need of the country, which is uniform across the globe. Nowhere in the world the taxes are fully exempted. I'm talking about the countries like this. And therefore, if the taxes are paid, then government will be able to help, and government will be able to fulfill their responsibility. Because government, as we can see, that Uganda also has a ambitious plan. The government invests a lot in infrastructure, invests in education, in health. I mean, we can see the budget, that so much money is invested, and always the money is short. So if these corporates and SMEs in particular, as part of their corporate governance practices, they pay and contribute right taxes, that will help themselves to grow, because the compliant companies and compliant SMEs have better a potential to grow and become big, and directly it will be contributed to the government of Uganda. And most importantly, our government needs fair taxpayers, because today it is only, I mean, if we look at the GDP to tax ratio, or tax to GDP ratio, it's 14% today. But the average for 21 African countries, it's 18.1. Kenya has it's 18. South Africa has 21 or 26. So so we need to look at these countries as role model, and we need to become SMEs in this case, or individuals. We need to become more responsible. If we are more responsible, I have seen that the organization will definitely grow to their potential.
Okay, interesting. Now, of course, Grant Thornton organized a budget of the 2019-2020 analysis paper. What do we take from this?
Like every year, we analyze the budget. We analyze all the policy measures that government takes every year, and then we put in a simplified format to our clients, and through Indian Business Forum and other organization to the businesses at large in the country. In this year budget, I've seen that government has been focusing for industrialization and job creation, and that's very critical for any economy. The biggest takeaway I can say that government has attempted to provide tax exemption to East African citizens as well as foreigners, depending on the investment that they make. If they are East African citizens, they make investment of $1 million in a particular type of industry, because they have also listed the priority sectors in which the investment is required, such as agriculture, such as vocational institutions, and so on. So, if these East African citizens invest $1 million, or the foreigners invest $10 million in the similar sectors, then they will be exempted not only from income tax, but they have also been given many other benefits. If government of Uganda, through Uganda Investment Authority and business consultant like us, firms like ours, if they market these exemptions as a better destination for investment, and this is marketed across the Africa and globally, then it will certainly attract the better investment in the country, and that will certainly bring more investment, more industries. Directly means the more jobs, and obviously, if not direct taxes, indirect taxes will increase the funds for the government to use. As well.
However, you identified there's certain things that we still need to focus on to make sure that we achieve some of these goals.
So it's continuous, you know. As you can see, government tries their best, but it's not only government whose role is to transform the economy. I would say it's the private sector. It's the every individuals like you and me who has to contribute in the society. So while government makes their efforts, individually each of us, and again this is to do with a good corporate governance, because good corporate governance begins with self and aligning the objectives of the self for the organization and for the society, and that is where the government comes in. So if all of us, including the private sectors, jointly with government, we become more responsible to the society. For example, there are a few things that we always identify, and government is making good progress in that, but there are more efforts required for its implementation. One of them is a right and consistent tax policy, because any tax measure or any taxation measure that you keep, and the investor comes and invests based on the policies as of today, then you don't keep changing those policies. One of such things that I personally feel is not right is limiting the organization to allow its debt, interest on the borrowed capital only to the extent of 30%, and the remaining amount you carry forward to the subsequent period. I think this particular measure, limiting an organization to get 30% of its interest cost, and that interest ought to have been only for interest from the related parties. But that law is drafted, which unfortunately we can't change from last year, is that even if you borrow the funds from the local banks and financial institution, that will be limited too. So that I believe that on one hand we take the right formulation of the policies, on the other hand some of the mistakes, I do not know whether it has right intention or not, also distract the investment, and that's why many investors are quite watchful when they come here. But there are some other such examples as well. So one is to have right and consistent policies, keeping in view not only short-term collection of the tax measures, but keeping in view the medium and in long term how our economy needs to perform. We need to keep that in mind. In addition to that, corruption has always been an issue. But again, as government puts in their efforts, the individually and the organizations, in this case we are talking about SMEs, every person in the business, whether he is individual person doing his own business, or he is in a service sector, let's say a civil servant in a revenue authority or in any other ministry, all of us, we need to act more responsibly. And we can't hold responsible, government only the responsible. So we need to pay more focus on curbing the corruption. We need to also focus in creation of the jobs as well. And that's where I'm very happy that in this year budget they have exempted the vocational institutions. But firms like us, you will be happy to know that we have signed MOU with the Institute of Certified Public Accountants that we will be taking their students as trainees for Grant Thornton, so that when the training are provided, they will be able to find a job as well as they will be able to work professionally wherever they are.
Okay, interesting. Now, real quick, we shall go through this one fast because our time seems to be running out. In terms how to maintain your books of accounts, just a brief one, so we can go to the most important one that you.
Maintaining books of accounts is it's basically recording every transaction, as I said, and you can buy very simple software. Today, in the technological development, there are so many software, user-friendly software available. And those softwares needs only little knowledge about accounting, or a person who will have a common sense will be able to record those transactions in a software. The very well known software are Tally accounting system, there is a Sage, there is QuickBook, and many other. These are so simple. In fact, those who cannot afford, the owner himself or herself can also record this transaction so that someone can help them to finalize and present them to the bank and revenue authority.
Interesting. So how do we get to, let us look at the making of the financial budget here for small and medium enterprises.
Financial budget is very important. You see, financial budget is all about thinking of what your business needs. What's your sales turnover going to be? What's your purchases going to be? What's your cost going to be? What would you like to spend in terms of salaries and others? So financial budget is both income and expenditure. You judge or you anticipate based on the past experience, or if you have a startup, then based on the experience of whatever knowledge that you have gathered, use that knowledge and formulate that financial budget. It does not require a software. It does not require a computer also. You can do it in a notebook. That record, what do you think your income is going to be? What do you think is your expenses are going to be? What else, what other resources do you need? Do you need fixed asset? Do you need a car? Do you need a computer? Do you need software? What other things that you need? Record those things and make sure that the funds that is required, both for capital investment and for your working capital, that is provided for, so that you know what capital you have it with you and what capital do you need to borrow or get from any other sources. So financial budget is extremely important. In addition to that, this financial budget constantly needs to be compared with the actual that is happening. So financial budget, for example, you make for a year, but then every week and every month you see that what did you project it and what actually has happened. So if you continuously see the performance of the budget versus actual, that will give you a guidance if there is any corrective measure you need to take. For example, by mistake your pricing that you are selling at is lower or much higher, then those corrective measures can be taken during the course of the year, rather than waiting for the final year and 6 months when you have your financial transactions with you. So it is very important.
Okay. So Patel, a last word to the people that are watching you in regards to why it is important to have your books in check and why it's very, very important, especially when we look at the small and medium enterprises.
Well, my say to all the business people, those who are watching this show, is that first and foremost, have faith in yourself. You can do it. That's one. Two, in whichever position in your business you are, whatever situation of your business is today, it can be better tomorrow, as long as you believe in it, as long as you put your heart in it, as long as you are willing to go out of your way to think about your business, as long as you think that what could go wrong tomorrow, and take actions today, that what controls you need to take so that your tomorrow wrongdoing can be corrected from today. And most importantly, engage professionals. The many people or many students are available to help you even if you don't pay them. I have seen them, some of the students coming, sir, please don't pay me, but allow me to work for your organization.
Internship,
Yeah.
yes. Well, thank you
So that's my last message to you.
Well, thank you so much, Anil Patel, who is the managing partner of Grant Thornton. And of course, he's been talking about a number of things and why it's very important to make sure your finances are in check. Bookkeeping is very, very important, because then you know where you're at that particular situation and what some of the changes that you actually need to make to improve yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do appreciate you for your time. My time has also run out, and I must say we do come Monday to Friday from 9 to 10. You can get me on Facebook, Rowena Harriet, on Twitter at Rowena Harriet. You can also go at UBC TV Uganda and find some of these things and have the discussions that we keep bringing up here and there. Well, have yourselves a good day. My name is Rowena Kajumba, from me and the entire team.